Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper, and I am located in Oregon in the United States. And thank you so much for joining me. So, first of all, let's find the live stream so that I can see your comments. And then let's talk about some products that released today. And then we'll get started. Okay, let me turn the sound off so you don't hear double, because nobody needs to hear double. All right, so there we are. And this is not looking very straight. Let's see if I can straighten this. Why is this such? Okay, hang on. Sorry about that. Let's see if I went the right direction. See if I went the right direction with that. Moving. Oh, yep. Okay, now did I turn right? Okay, let's see. Nope, I need to straighten this way. Sorry, hang on. It's so funny that when you're looking through the camera before you go live, it looks so much different than when you actually go live. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks so much for joining. All right. So I sent a text, Cynthia, that the Humble Home Builder Punch and the Sweetest Star Punch, the expected dates have been moved back to the week of December 9th. Sweetest Star is on the last chance list, and the stamp set itself is discounted. So you'll need to make a decision if you want to go ahead and get that stamp set before it sells out, and then get the punch when it comes back in because it's not on the last chance list, or if you want to wait and try to get the bundle. Hi, Tracy. So anyway, today Stampin' Up! Released 3 papers. These are actually returning papers, but they've been recolored. Okay, and these are only while supplies last. So once they're sold out, they're gone and they're not returning. So we've got Refreshed Beauty. Let me see if I can get this up a little bit higher, but not too high. I've got to wait a second or two for, well, 20 to 30 seconds for the camera to, or for, yeah, the live to, well, let's see. I went too far. Let's go back down and we'll wait for it to come up. Anyway, these are the new papers that were released today. So we've got Refreshed Beauty, Serene Love. Those are both 12 by 12s, and then Shades and Hues, which is a 6 by 6 paper stack. Okay, so that'll let you take a look at those. And again, only while supplies last. There were also 2 kits that were released today in the kits collection, so be sure to check those out. And of course, the last chance category has gone live on the website. Now, you will find in there that there are some things that would have gone into the clearance rack, but Stampin' Up! Is no longer doing a clearance rack. So be sure to check that last chance category, and you find that by clicking on the 3 little lines in the upper left corner of your screen, and then that'll give you a drop-down menu, and if you scroll down, you'll find specials. If you click on specials, then it'll give you another drop-down screen, and there'll be a last chance products category. Click on that, and everything that's available will be in there. Everything in there will remain in there as long as there is inventory, and once the inventory is gone, then it will disappear from the category. Okay, and it will no longer be available. All right, So you'll want to be sure to take a look at that. There's some super good deals, or there were when I looked last night. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started right away here. We have a 3D project, which is a gift card treat box. And we're going to be using Humble Home, Naughty and Nice, and I'm only using the Wrapped with Love image from Naughty and Nice. And then I'm going to be using the More Than Autumn bundle. And we'll be using the Gingerbread Man from the stamp set and the coordinating die. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start right away with some stamping and embossing because that's going to need to dry a little bit. So I have made a template with a scrap of pecan pie. And all I did was take my Humble Home Builder punch and punch it out. Okay. And then I'm just going to use this for a template. So I can punch out another a blank, what I call a blank. And then I'm just going to place this in here in my template. That way I know that it's right where it's supposed to be. I've already lined up my stamps in my stamp positioning tool. And all you need to do is take and before you punch this, stamp your image, then punch, and then your stamp will be lined up perfectly for the punch that you did. Okay? So then I'm going to put my blank in here. Excuse me. And I'm going to take pecan pie ink. And I'm going to flip this over because I'm doing 2 steps here, and that's why I'm using the stamp positioning tool. I wanted to show you a little different way to do this house. So we're going to do pecan pie on the, whoops, that's not going to work well. That's not going to work out very well. I've got some stray something on there. So let's go ahead and clean that off because otherwise I'm going to get a yucky image that's not going to work out very well for us. Okay, so again, let's try that again. And ink up. There we go. Now I don't have the little fuzzies up there. I don't know if you could see those in the camera view or not. And then I'm just going to close the door on my Stamparatus. And yes, I know this is retired, but it works the best for 2-step stamping. So now I've got this, and I'm going to go ahead and clean that stamp just so I don't get ink everywhere. That's what works best for me if I clean it right away. And then I'm going to set this aside so that that dries. And while that's drying, I'm going to bring in another scrap piece of pecan pie. And I'm going to bring in my embossing additions toolkit. Okay. I'm going to take my embossing buddy, get any static off of that paper. And then I'm going to take my little gingerbread boy or girl, however you want to look at it. And I'm going to stamp 3 of those. Okay. And we're going to take our Basics Wow embossing powder. I'm using the opaque bright white. And I'm just going to, add that. And then I'm just going to tap that off. Okay. Now, I saw a stray little thing I didn't want in there, so we're going to take that out and dump this back in. We're not going to put it away too far because we're going to need it again in a minute. And then we're going to take and heat up our heat tool. Hi, Laura. So glad to have you back. Okay, I'm going to let that get warm. And then I'm going to heat those little gingerbread boys until they shine and the embossing powder's melted. Okay, and as soon as I see that I'm done, come on, shut off. Okay, so now we've got those. Now let's bring back in our little gingerbread house over here, because now that's had time to dry and it should be good. And then I'm going to take my embossing buddy over the top of this. And we're going to take the Versamark ink and we are going to ink up the gingerbread house. Give that a really good inking. And then we'll put that on. Okay, and that does not look quite good. So I'm gonna go ahead and re-ink that. Press that in nice. Okay. And then I'm going to very carefully pick that up on the outside edges. And I'm going to set this aside out of the way. I'm going to bring in my embossing powder again. And I'm going to kind of set that in there. And then I'm just going to pour my powder over the top. Make sure I can see the edges. And very, very carefully, come on, you're not cooperating tonight. What is the deal here? Okay, I want to hold that by its edges. It's a little bit tricky doing it this way, but so worth it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just drop this down on my glass matte studio. I'm going to hold my little tweezers where there isn't embossing powder. Turn on my embossing tool and heat set that. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it around and finish it up. All right. So I'm going to give that just a second to dry before I touch it, because if I touch it too quickly, then I'll smush up the embossing powder. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put this powder back in my bottle, my little jar here. Okay, and there we have it. All right. So now I'll hold this up to the camera so you can see it and see what that looks like with that little brick background. Okay. I'm hoping you can really see that. Let me see if I can get that just a little bit closer. All right, there you go. I think you can see that now. Oops. There we go. Okay. So now we need to cut out our little gingerbread boys. And we have dies for that in the More Than Autumn. Unfortunately, there's only one little gingerbread die. So you just need to put that down and run it through your cut and emboss machine 3 times. But to save us some time, I've already done that, so you don't have to watch me do that. But we do have a couple of more things we need to stamp. So, one I forgot to pull out. We need the little wreath from the Humble Home. So we're going to stamp that. And then we also need the Wrapped in Love from Naughty and Nice. Now the Naughty and Nice stamp set is on the Last Chance category. So we need to take some shaded spruce and we're going to ink that up. Make sure it's inked up well. Stamp that down. And then we're going to take some Memento Tuxedo Black. And we're going to stamp a wreath. Okay. And that is the stamping done. Now we can go ahead and I'm going to use a 3/4 inch punch. You could hand cut this or you could find a die maybe that will work for this, but I have a 3/4 inch punch. You can get at any craft store or from Amazon. Mine just happens to be a retired Stampin' Up! One. And I'm going to punch that out so that we have that. Now let's bring in some shaded spruce and some cherry cobbler. No, I want real red. Not cherry cobbler. Real red. Okay. And I know you guys have seen me color this image. So we're just going to do it super fast. A little bit of dark. A little bit of light. To finish up that bow. Let me turn that around so I can get into those little peaks of the ribbon there. Put a little dot there where I had some white. Then we'll take the dark shaded spruce. And I'm just going to dot right there. And color a little bit around the bow there and at the ribbon ends. And then I'll finish that up with the shaded spruce. Okay. This project really is pretty quick and easy. So then let's take some Wink of Stella. And we're just going to put a little bit of Wink of Stella on the ribbon here on the bow. All right. And then we do have to hand cut this out because we don't have a die for that because of the punch, but I've already done that ahead of time and stuck it on a glue dot. So all we have to do is add it to our project. Oh, you know what? I think my tweezers are out in the kitchen. That's not good. They didn't make it back from a project earlier today that I used them for. Out in the kitchen trying to fix something. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to have to make do with these. I don't work as well with these reverse tweezers. So I'm just going to put my wreath there. And then we are ready to start putting our box together. So let's get that out. And I am using the scalloped gift card boxes. Okay, so they come like this. The box is pre-scored and ready to put apart together, and it doesn't need any adhesive. And then you have a gift card holder. Okay, so let's set that aside. And let's go ahead and fold these up. Just fold on all the score lines. Fold those in. You know, I didn't even use the bone folder, really. These are really good, crisp scores. So they really do fold up really nicely, and just a finger score will do. Okay, so now this is going to be the top of our box, and this is the front. And these ones are going to fold in. These are our reinforced sides. So I'm going to put some Designer Series paper on, and I'm going to put it on now because it's easier. Okay, so let's get some pieces out of our little bag here. And this paper is from the Take a Bow Designer Series paper. This piece for the top is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. So I'm just going to put this on and center that up. I left a pretty narrow border. Okay. Now, I'm a little anal about things. You don't necessarily need to be, but I like to match up my stripes, make sure they're going the same direction. Okay, and those look like they're going to match up. So we'll put some adhesive on that. And let me get that matched up again. Okay. And then this front piece here is going to match up here. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to try to match it up, at least going in the right direction. Now, if you're not that particular, just slap it on and be done. Or if you're going to make a whole bunch of these and it just doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to do mine like this. Uh-oh. My little gingerbread guys decided it wanted to run away. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on. And then for the sides, I just want to make sure things are going in the right direction. So I'm going to look to see that these stripes go the same way. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put some adhesive on there and match that up right. Let me look at that again because, you know, my memory is about 5 minutes long. Okay, there we go. It is easier to put on flat, but if you fold it up, then you can figure it out maybe a little bit easier. I don't know. Okay, so again, I want these going this direction. If it's not perfectly lined up, is your person really going to notice? Probably not. Just me being me. Okay. Maybe it would have been easier to put it together first. Okay. Well, now it's on, and that's what our pieces should look like. So this is a 7/8 by 4 inch, and you need 2 of those. And this is 2 3/4 by 7/8 inch, and you need 2 of those. Okay, and then the 2 3/4 by 4. Now, to put this box together, we're just going to fold in these little tabs. I find it easier if I have it over on the right here. And then I'm going to fold up the side, keeping those nice and tight, those edges. And then I'm just going to push that into the hole that's in the bottom here. Okay. There's a little tab that goes into that, and that will hold it nice and tight, and then I can fold my front in last. Okay, so now my box is together, just like that. Pretty quick and easy. Now, I want this to wrap over the top, so I'm going to close this with some Velcro dots, okay? And you can close this however you would like. This will tuck right inside if you want it to, so you could do that. But I like the scalloped edge. So I'm going to take these, hello Jennifer, I'm going to take these Velcro dots, and I chose to use 2. You could just do 1 in the center if you wanted, but I don't want mine to gape at all. So I'm going to use 2. And again, I'm going to be particular, and I'm going to take the white section here, and I'm going to put it on the inside of the top. And I'm doing the 3rd scallop from the end on both sides. And let's see, let's open up the white side first. This one should be a little bit easier. I've got a little bit bigger tab to work with. Okay, so again, I've got the white part, and I'm just going to put this right here. I'm going to give those a good press so that they stick really well. And then I'm going to remove that little plastic covering. Okay. And then I'll just make sure that my sides are nice and square, and then give that a little press. Okay. And then we'll lift that up carefully, and then you can see that when you put the clear side here, it's barely visible. And that's why I like to put the white at here on the inside, so that my clear doesn't show so much on the outside. Okay, so what fits in this box? Well, of course, a gift card will fit, but they're also sized perfectly to fit a Little Debbie Christmas gingerbread soft cookie. Okay, so I've got one of those here, and I'm just going to set this down in the bottom of the box. You can do it however you like. If you're going to put a gift card in, the cookie and the gift card holder fit better this way. Okay, and then you could just put your, this has little slots to hold your gift card. Let me see if I can grab a gift card without knocking things down. Where are my gift cards? Well, I'm not seeing that they're where they're supposed to be at the moment. Oh, there it is, right there it is. I'm just overlooking it. Okay, so you can just stick a gift card right in the little holes there, and then stick that in there and close it up. Okay, so they can have a treat. Of course, you could put chocolates. This box is about 3 inches by 4 inches, so quite a few things would fit, and it's 1 inch deep. So a small gift, this would work great for. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that up, and let's decorate. So from the greetings of the season, I've taken a piece of basic white, and I've cut this particular die. I don't remember if these are on the last chance or not, but man, this is a really good set of dies. So be sure to check those out. So I've taken that, and now I'm going to take my gingerbread house. But before I do that, I'm going to take Merry Christmas, and this comes from the Humble Home. And I'm going to take the Shaded Spruce ink. I'm going to take that Merry Christmas and ink it up really well. And then I'm going to stamp it up here in the upper left corner. And then we'll put our gingerbread house like this. So let's grab some dimensionals. Because why wouldn't we? It's a 3D project, so we can go as high as we like. Now this is going to hang off just a bit, so I'm not going to put a dimensional way at the top. And then we'll stick this down and set that about like that. And then we're going to bring in our gingerbread guys, our little gingerbread cookies. And I'm going to take 2 of these and I'm going to put a little dimensional on 2 of them. And I'm going to remove those backings. And then I'm going to set these down. Just not really good with these reverse tweezers. I prefer my regulars. Okay, then we're going to put those there. And then I'm going to take a glue dot. And this little guy is going to get a glue dot. And we're going to stick him in behind those 2. So we have this trio of gingerbread cookies next to our gingerbread house. Now let's go ahead and add this to our treat box front. And I'm actually going to take some side pieces here. I'm about out of dimensionals on this sheet. Just going to add some of those in. And then 1 on each end there. And we'll stick a little piece here in the middle. And remove those backings. Okay. And then we're going to center this up and add it to our box. Kind of like that. Okay. Now we've got one last thing to do, and that's take the large check ribbon, and we're going to color this and cut it in half. But in order to know how much I need, I'm going to put this on my bow jig, because I don't like to waste ribbon, and I only want to color what I need. So that should be enough. And I'll give that a trim. Whoops. Okay, then we'll bring in a scrap piece of paper. And we're going to take the light real red Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to start on this end because it's easier for me. And I'm just going to color the center vanilla portion here as best I can. I'm just going to try and stay right in that center. Now, if it goes out a little bit, it's not going to matter because it's not really going to show with the darker edge. But we're just going to color that up and let that blend, that alcohol ink flow through, and color our ribbon. In case you didn't know that you could do this with your blends, you can on many ribbons. Okay, so we've got that now. And now we need to cut this ribbon in half because it's too big for what I want. So we're going to, I'm just going to cut it right down the center of the red that I just inked. And the one good thing about the alcohol ink on there is that it does stiffen the ribbon up just a bit. So it makes it just a tiny bit easier to cut. So I'm just trying to stay in the center. Is it perfect? No. Does it have to be? No. Is anybody going to be paying attention? Probably not. Okay, so let's cut that right there. And I'll put this aside for another time. And then I'm going to use this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap that. And then we'll give that a quick tie. Hold that tight. And then I like to, when I do a double one like this, I like to pull the doubles apart while it's still on my bow jig. This one may not be possible. It's being stubborn. It doesn't want to move out of itself. There we go. Maybe. There we go. Got it. Okay. So we'll set that aside and we'll grab another glue dot. The ribbon doesn't take very long to dry because we use the alcohol. So now we're just going to take that, put it on a glue dot, put the bow over here on that tag hole, and then I'm going to trim up my ends, and we are almost finished. I bet you were wondering when we were going to use this. So we've got our Wrapped in Love, and before we put that down, we're going to grab one of these little peppermint adhesive backed dots here. And yes, I know these are on back order until December 23rd. But many of you already have it. So we're just going to put one of those right there in the center of the heart. I'm going to give that a good press. That is much easier to do when it's flat than when you put it on here. So now I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue, Tombow Mono Adhesive, the green glue that I have in a little bottle here. And I'm just going to put a little dot of the glue on that ribbon. And then I'm going to add my Wrapped with Love. And I'm just going to hold that there for a second. And then I'm going to leave it to dry. And there is our little treat box. Okay, gift card treat box. And let me hold on to this so it doesn't fall off. You've got that. You've got your treat on the bottom. And that'll hold a nice little gift. I hope you like that. Okay, so that's project number 1. our next project is a card. It'll be pretty quick because we're not doing a bunch of stamping, and I've prepped it pretty well because I didn't think that you wanted me to use to spend a bunch of time fussy cutting. Okay, so we're going to be using the Nests of Winter and the coordinating Winterly Treetops stamp set. Okay, I'm also using Greetings from Peaceful Season for the inside. Okay, and I believe Peaceful Season is on the outgoing list, but I could be wrong because I can't remember. I didn't study the list. Okay, then you're also going to need the Nested Essentials dies. We're using the second largest of this die and the Stylish Shapes dies, and we're using these two circles. No, these two circles. The second and third circles from the smallest of this one. Okay? And of course, I pre-cut a bunch. Let's look at the Nests of Winter paper. This is the piece that we're going to be using, this one and this one, which has this on the other side. So this is what you have in that pack. It's a beautiful pack of paper. And this is on the last chance list, as the DSPs usually are. So I've got a card base and crumb cake. And we can go ahead and fold that up. Okay. And I'm getting short on time, so I'm not going to pull out the Simply Scored to do that. Here's a piece of that Nests of Winter paper. And we're going to add this to our front, and we don't need to add any ribbon treatments or anything, so we're just going to go ahead and add this on. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, we'll just center that up with equal spacing on all 4 sides. This is going to be a landscape card. Then I've cut that Nested Essential, the second largest hexagon in Cherry Cobbler. I've got 2 of the second smallest Stylish Shapes circles. And is this the right one? It must be. Okay. I hope that's the right circle because I cut them and it doesn't seem to be in my bag. Okay. Here's where the fussy cutting came in. I've taken from that sheet of the Nest of Winters and I've fussy cut these images, and we're going to use those. Okay, so let's start by doing our 2 small circles, and we're going to take some liquid glue and we're going to put down a pine cone. And man, I need those tweezers. Okay, now I've taken a little bit of Wink of Stella and I've just kind of dotted it on the pine cone. Because what card is complete without a little bit of Wink of Stella? And then I'm going to take this and I need to move that up if I can. I didn't put it on there quite right. Let me see if I can lift that and move it. I want that to go. Well, it's going to go where it's at. That's just the way it's going to be because that's the way it wants to be. I'm going to put this on here. Okay. And then we're going to repeat that on the little on the other small circle, only I'm going to try to, maybe put this one a little bit higher to start with, like there. And then put a little bit of liquid glue on here. Notice I'm keeping the edges clear of glue, and that's just because I want a little bit of lift and dimension. Okay, so I've got those two pieces, and then I've got my bird. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on my bird, and I'm going to center him up on my circle. Okay, and then we'll do just a little bit of Wink of Stella on the berries and on the bird wings and on the bird eye. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do those again. There we go. Dot a little bit on the pine cone. Okay, and there are our pieces. Now we can bring this hexagon back in, and here's the tricky part. These circles barely fit on our hexagon here. So let's see how we want these to look. Pine cones usually hang down, so I'm really wanting those to go down like so. And then we're going to put this one right in the center. So I'm going to start by putting on, nope, these actually are going on with glue dots. I almost messed that up. That's okay. Where did I slip my scissors? Not back where they belong, for sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna clip some of these outside pieces so they'll fit. And then we'll add this to here. Okay, and then let's add dimensional to this one. And slip that on there. And then I'll go ahead and add some dimensionals to here. And add it in the center. If you add the two end pieces first, then you know your ends are going to fit. And I'll stick this one and line it right up in the center. And the thing with this circle is that you can keep turning that until you get it in the orientation that you want your bird. I'm trying to make sure my bird is standing kind of even here. Okay, so now this piece is ready, and we can add this to our card. Oh, no, we can't. We have to stamp our sentiment. So again, I'm going to use the stamp positioning tool because I've already got my paper on here and I don't want it to get messed up. So I'm just going to slip this in my stamp positioning tool. And I'm going to take some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to clean that off because I don't want a mishap. So let's just clean that up I got a little aggressive with my ink pad. Okay, I'm going to slip that card right down there in the corner, ink that up, and then I'm going to double ink that just to make sure my black is nice and black and that it shows up well against that designer series paper. Okay, and by using the stamp positioning tool, I'm able to double stamp that to get a nice clear black image, in addition to ensuring that it's straight. Okay, so let's give that a quick wipe. We are almost finished. The hardest part of this card is the fussy cutting, and of course I did that in advance so you didn't have to watch. And then we're going to take some, you know what, I'm just going to use liquid glue here. Handy, I can slide this if I need to. Okay. And then we'll just place this down. I want to go about halfway between my paper and my sentiment. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. Whether it'll be perfect or not, who knows? We're just going with it. Okay, so we have one last thing to do to this card, and then the front will be finished. So let's find where I've put my gems. Oh my goodness. They should be in this little tub right here. Oh, where did my gems go? I know I didn't put them back in here. Where? Does anybody see them? Because they are not jumping at me. Okay. This is terrible. Oh, they're not with the Velcro dots. Okay, well, you guys, I'm not seeing them and I'm not going to waste your time. So I'm just going to show you what the finished card looks like with the gems until I can find the gems. I've taken the cherry cobbler and clear gems, and I've put a trio and then 2 singles in the cherry cobbler to finish off that card. Okay, so for the inside now, I fussy cut another one of those birds and the pine cone. And then from the Peaceful Season, I took Wishing You All the Things That Warm Your Heart and Lift Your Spirit. So now we're going to take our Stampin' Seal. And we'll add this to the inside of our card, like so. And for the final piece, I took this bird image from the Winterly Treetops, and I stamped him on the front partially, and then I colored him with cherry cobbler and crumb cake, and his beak is pebbled path. Okay, so I hope that you like those 2 projects that I had for you tonight, and I thank you for joining me. And let's bring back in our gift card treat box. Thanks, Tracy. I'm so glad you like that. I actually was inspired by a card I saw. I can't remember who made it. They had, it was Rose Coleman, and she did the GDP challenge, the Global Design Project challenge, and the three circles were part of it. She did hers a little differently, but I took this sketch and used a completely different stamp set. I just took those three circles and changed the sketch up a bit, and that's what I come up with. Thank you guys so much. I will be back on Thursday night, I think, unless there is a swim meet, which I don't know about at the moment. It's high school swim meet time, and it's Caleb's senior year, so I won't be missing any of those home meets. And I'm not sure if he's swimming on Thursday at home or not. So right now, I'm going to say I'll be here. And if things change, I'll post here on Facebook letting you know that I won't be live. But until then, everybody, have a great week. And thank you so much for liking, sharing, following, and doing all the things to help my channel. I appreciate you so much. Good night.